How are we doing, everybody, and welcome to Russell Heritage Golf. I'm a golf professional based out of Four Ashes Golf Centre in Solihull, and today we're talking about connection, so the relationship between the arms and the body during the golf swing. Now, at any point in this video, if you're enjoying it, press the thumbs up button, I really appreciate it. Drop me comments in the box below if there's things that you're enjoying, if there's things you'd like me to elaborate on with drills, etc. I'm more than happy to help you guys out and create this content for you. And then finally, press that subscribe button, press the little icon next to it as well, and you'll receive notifications every time a new video comes out. But for now, let's talk about arms-body connection. Okay, so let's start talking in the backswing first. Right now, I like to see connection in the backswing position. I've got no problem with the left arm staying nice and close to the body, mainly because I think it helps everybody get a feeling of comfort, control, but it also helps trigger a decent amount of rotation. The thing that you've got to be careful in the backswing, in my opinion, is that you don't get too flat with the left arm at the top of the backswing. Most amateur golfers struggle to create enough rotation in the downswing position, and if you imagine your left arm starts to get really flat, the last position you want to be is in a flat arm plane, not creating enough rotation, and all of a sudden the club starts getting massively stuck behind you, leading to all sorts of discrepancies from shanks, fats, blocks, hooks, right? And then the other compensation is that I see with a lot of guys that get too flat is that you have to try and find steepness from somewhere, and that's why you'll normally swing over the top, so at least you can get to the back of the ball first. So connection in the takeaway, fine, right? I'm not even too concerned if the club goes a little bit under plane. That doesn't concern me too much. But what I would suggest is as you're swinging up to the top, you're going to have to get the feeling that your left arm is working on your shoulder plane, because otherwise it's going to get too flat. And connection is more about the transition coming in towards the downswing position. I think this is when we see the pros doing things like the towel drill to try and keep the arms connected, and I think it's an important part of the golf swing, but you've also got to be careful with it as well, in my opinion. I like to see guys rotating. I like to see guys creating club head speed. I want to see you using the ground to create energy and triggering a decent amount of hip and shoulder rotation. Now, what will happen is when you start creating more rotation in your golf swing, that centrifugal force is going to throw your arms further away from you. Now, the concern you're going to have with this is, one, obviously the arms are going to go further away from you, but also as the arms start to go further away, it's easy for the club face to start rotating too open. So the way you stay connected, in my opinion, is not just by squeezing the arms, right? It's not just by kind of dropping the arms down to stay connected, because then you're going to lose all your rotation. It's not about just pulling your arms and staying connected. There has to be an element of rotation of the forearm, and in my opinion as well, I'd like to see a bit of flexion on the left wrist. But for the point, more importantly, about trying to stay connected and not deviating too much about the club face, I think it's important that you try and introduce a forearm rotation as you're coming in towards the downswing, based on both arms. So both arms are going to be going this way, because when you start to turn, your arms are going to go further away. So the way you're going to stay connected is by introducing this rotation. As you start introducing this rotation, you're still going to have the ability to be able to create space by moving, but keeping your arms connected based on the idea that they're rolling much closer towards you. So yes, I've got no problem with a towel underneath your left arm. I'm happy with that. But the squeezing effect and the squeezing of the pec should really be coming from the fact that you understand your left forearm is going to be rotating downward, your right forearm is going to be rotating downward equally. As you do this, obviously, as you can see now, my arms get closer to my body. So you start to combine that with a decent rotation, and you have a downswing from the transition at the top of the backswing that's starting to look connected, but also starting to look powerful. Coming into the through swing, it's exactly the same. You know, it's exactly the same in terms of the connection of the right arm now going through. Now, depending on the club face position coming into your downswing will dictate your release pattern. that even if you're somebody who comes down with quite a square face and you're a release holder, which means you're not going to be rotating the face closed as much, you still don't want to finish this way. Do you know what I mean? You're still going to want to keep that arm nice and close, that right arm nice and close as that left arm folds. And as you swing through, your arms will finish on a flatter arm plane based on the rotation. That's why I don't really like to see these sort of high finishes as we go through. I like to see the arms stay more connected based on the fact that it triggers a better rotation. So the point of this video really is that, yes, I like to see the arms more connected to the body. I think it's important how you're doing it though, in my opinion. I think the most important part of all of this is going to be the transition, which is why I've documented most on that. You have to get this idea of rolling the forearms, otherwise the arms are going to get too far away from you. I've mentioned the flexion as well. In my personal opinion, that would help the face stay squarer. But even if the face came down a little open, you'd only have to roll release it coming through, okay? But you can still finish in the same sort of position. From here, we'll see different positions. Some guys carry on going round. There's quite a lot of the modern guys now that are kind of just getting to this sort of position and stopping, because to be honest, you're going to be slowing down at that point anyway, that you don't necessarily need to try and go for a massive finish position, in my opinion. So to keep the arms connected, you know what you've got to go and work on, okay? As I mentioned earlier, always appreciate one of those and keep the comments rolling in. But for now, go and work on keeping those arms connected, and we'll catch up again soon.